Thus I have heard. At one time, the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of Vulture Peak Mountain with a great gathering of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the samadhi of the many aspects of phenomena called profound appearance. At the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to the noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, "How should a son of a lineage trained who wishes to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom?" Thus he spoke, and the noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva answered the Venerable Shariputra with these words. Shariputra, those men and women of the lineage who wish to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look at it like this. The five skandhas should be seen purely in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form also is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, recognition, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are emptiness, and having no characteristics, they are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no recognition, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no phenomena. There's no quality of sight and so on until no quality of mind and no quality of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no exhaustion of ignorance and so on up to no old age and death and no exhaustion of old age and death. In the same way, there is no suffering, no origin, no ending, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide by means of the profound perfection of wisdom. And since their minds have no obscurations, they have no fear. Transcending falsity, they attain nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times have relied upon the perfection of wisdom and have become true and complete Buddhas of unsurpassable, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the profound perfection of wisdom, the mantra of insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for it is not deceptive. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Teata, Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and said to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, noble Avalokiteshvara, that he had spoken well. Well done, O son of a lineage, it is so. O son of a lineage, since it is just so, the profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will also rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Shariputra and noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva and the entire gathering, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, rejoiced and praised the words of the Blessed One.
哎呀，他们是掐见着这条路没个刚硬车子。 哎，他们就缺些些的门叫这，我拿过来差多，可是得错看着一把。
哦，那是。
错看着，
那是这个
啊，
会是猫人。
错个钱，可是错看着一把，对也拿不起来。呀，当然就都是这，那让人点着那看点着了，点不推广不了，有些学弟都是他老是这边那么那就过那个节没把这，那让给他过的了，让给这些方法这边呢，另外。可是农业门的这台湾的现在这个的这三八农路了，去大让给这话这去看那个说的没把这讲来呢，马时间了没别，你这也讲话了没别，台湾讲的，你这到台湾你就嘛呢，干嘛看些去没把这个的。
So let's begin with visualizing Buddha Shakyamuni in the space above one's crown, surrounded by the lineage gurus of great Lam Rim, great teachers to the path to enlightenment, and being oneself in their presence, and oneself is also surrounded by all other sentient beings who are undergoing tremendous amount of sufferings. So with this, one should try to cultivate irreversible faith towards the object of refuge and generate compassion for all other sentient beings. With this, let's take 2 minutes to meditate.
哎，咱这个继续。你等着今年你刚跟我去过今年呢，刚什么事去呢？你想做哪就的吧
？With this genuine motivations, we're receiving the teachings. The teachings that we're receiving is the great TADs on the stages of the path to enlightenment, Jiangsu Lam Rimba.
你这一世界见到这一世界一切，就会这么对别现在话别教啊，当完了就把这边些去教啊，教完你当那边去了那些，叫他讲当把我就那么觉得这一人吧，这一世界些可对了，你落那尽量多玩呢。
As usual, let's begin by reading or by reflecting one's mind upon these 4 main outlines, which begins from the greatness of the authors given in order to show the teachings as noble source. The second is showing the greatness of the teachings in order to engender respect for the teachings, how to listen to, and the third is how to listen to teachings in which both teachings and its author as a great. In other words, reflecting one's mind upon the greatness of the both authors and their teachings. And the fourth is the sequence in which the disciples are to be taught the actual instructions.
当我们就那么觉得这些人吧了，你让就找现在对不电脑逻辑大人人吧，你他多么的电脑逻辑大人人吧了，你对于电脑你不能必须给我当，你不觉得那边去你接多么的，但你不觉得这边那边去了，你让去拿下来，你不觉得你不能去我去他多么的，但你不能去我了送，就不穷人对我让这人吧，娘子呢，就不知道，就不前边让这人吧，娘子呢，这接他多么的，他东部了送，提前了嘛的，他们了送，提前了就给我。甚至看到的不，甚至其他几个甚至的学报路最远的，他多么年纪大，他甚至的学报路就从 Senjina Loba Logo Bijansen, Loba Revala Loba, Sanjaman Juba, Loba Lobe Rebani Shebaji. The Loba Lobe Rebani Shebalani, Tebachimbo Chola Zidan, Cheba the Doji Tiba, Tatombola song, Shansan Loba Honda, Jana just a number of zone Jedani Bitsu, the zone Jedani Bitilani, Kona Lobi, Delavan, Dela Lobi Rimbaji. Matella Chetalobi Rimba Woj, Tatella Chetalobi Bani, Shubachula Hotel, the Cheba the Paja Tamanila Hotzage. Tama's Paja Tamanila Hotzi, Paja Tamanila Hotzilla, such a nice. Shena the Hotong opinion, then you got anything in the DJ number, the Shena the Hotong, then you got Bombay could be just saying, according about social lodge, also Tomboji, that's social lodge song. Social Chanel Hotel Hong Ta Tombola song, Chanel Cho Demba, Della Denison of Gombe Chanel Ruby Tears, and not on Tamata Gombe Chanel Ruby Tears in a day. Tanga to Sajit, Tanga to the Zay Sajjan, Sanjay Salon Drog, Gobino, Shanchu, Saint Moji Bitone, Chanel not of Son de Debutone, Sanjay Salon Drog in San, Tananga to Kosovo, and Chanel and Hatonship because of the yes.
So we are on the very important topics of how to practice serenity and the special insights, which are the two very important factors for one to attain state of enlightenment. So out of these two, we are at this point, at this particular point, we are discussing on the how to practice and how to achieve serenity.
Tanga Shanchu sent the Casimic Cassi Consul and long command wrote to Ege, the Solon Jin you gone wrote to Ege, Chachin Jay. Solon Jin and the Chijiting in the Malepato, Rotisanti Jimuji Matapato, Rosa Geneva. That's Sheneda Lato Mewaina, and Shanchu sent Casimic Cassi Combachana, Susu Salad de Germato, Telegem, Rosa Yomares.
So without perfecting one's practice on serenity, combination of both serenity and insight, regardless of how much practice that we may undertake, such as practice of bodhicitta and so forth, one will not be able to, develop one's practice towards complete state of enlightenment. It is therefore practicing combination of both serenity and its special insight is something that is very important.
Akasan was a senator, but Gushi, goodbye to Toyina, Senator be Chogre, and a Chogumare, Senator Senate Gobat Nyanja, Samba de Lene, any Della, any she Liu Xinjiang, the Senshin, Jetung Machabato, and Shine Chagumare, said the Casan was something later.
So we talked about, even though one may have achieved beginning from the 9 mental states, beginning from all the way from 1 to the 9th mental state, even though you may have achieved all of this, you are still not yet, one is still not yet achieved what we call genuine serenity, serenity, or the calm abiding. Because in order to achieve calm abiding, to become one's concentration, the calm abiding, the perfect calm abiding or the qualified calm abiding, it should be cultivated in conjunction with mental and physical pliancy.
Tanga Kasangani Jason Rowenda Beneripa showers, Pejin, but Ripa showers in the inside sauce. Shege, Mibalan, Nebadan, Jean Tobadan, Shinda Jamba. Igurs, Tanga to get Shinesing at the Toala Carugurs and any semibal around Tobadan, any Shinjang Gentung Chasona, any Dene, any Shines allows a situation.
So now let's go from, we'll continue from the paragraph that we left during our previous teachings. It's page 80, the last paragraph, which talks about what kind of quality that need to be achieved in order to attain perfect serenity. Here we read, for you who have cultivated meditative serenity in this way, when your body and mind becomes blind, and we have mastery over your mind in directing it as you wish, at that time, know that you have accomplished serenity.
되죠. 대고대고도 신에서 땡인데 대상절에 신에 라고 말은 원래 신에서 간대지 라고를 라서는 아니 생대 미발한테 베라마토 바다 생대게 류생 강로게 대화 쳐바진 레통인지 차비 아니 땡인데 달 신에서 라고를 선나 로추줘도.
So now it is very clear, just mere achieving single pointed concentrations alone will not it's not actual serenity. The actual serenity needs, it says, body and mind becomes pliant, and you have master over your mind in directing it as you wish.
되죠. 대시로 공에 동벌래 강게체 미빠 데니라 뭐반 디시바 메바 지수 되비 파도 센주반 조와 디체 신의 조바이바 리바 샤데 시에숨바야 신장 여발라 공바 인데 고레 바발레 세와 숨비 셔로 손도.
So then here it says, thus Kamalashila's first stages of the meditation states. When your attention is focused on the object of meditation for as long as you wish, without resort to an antidote, know that you have perfected serenity. The second stage of meditation clearly indicates that the above citation also refers to the presence of pliancy.
데 맞속에 지라 강전에 대거에서나 아니 소소게 미박 제단 된데도 생각하려는 것도 좀 리 제단 된데도 것도 와지 해비 거텔라 아니 신내 줘봐 차바래서 말이야. 맞소에 단다이나 맞소 리 데비 걸 리센 인가를 깔레지 제는 미발 기지상에 데비도 기지도 된데이 리센 인가를 라운터비 거질 해서나 아니 신내 줘봐래서 말이야.
So whenever one have achieved the physical and mental pliancy, and whenever that one is able to direct one's mind towards the object of meditation as you wish, and that is what is known as actual achievement of serenity.
先要与他的帮比的是这些比当年呢，得现在个把那年纪赢了，这张就没做过，得了现象讲送比小了，谢谢明啊来讲，你呢想去三百几百，一百呢，接了接到上比段一了下的，一直就把帮呢，三点你接到他哇，那来忙都一了下的。 几岁的流动三星的人吧，马这边跑的，现在的就是天吧，赢吧，赢了些吧，赢了。刚个才接吧第一次，现在第一次，现在赢了。新的时候送的，得到汤姐讲，多的工作就变了别吧，送到0.7。
So then here again says, furthermore, the equanimity explained in Maitreya's separation of the middle form, the same among the 8 antidotes, has the same meaning as the 9th mental stage refers to here. It states that this alone does not suffice, and you need pliancy as well. And Ratnakara Santi's instructions for the perfection of wisdom very clearly states that the bodhisattvas dwelling alone in solitary place direct their attention to their intended object, freeing themselves from mental compositions. They frequently direct their attention to the mental image until physical and mental plans arise. This is an attention that approximates serenity, but when they do arise, it is serenity. All these citations also establish the meaning of the sutra, unraveling the intended meaning. So
되게 된다 가르치고 있어서 배는 가서 세네 고바게 땡인지 되게 류 제단되는데 세 제단되는데 그것도 맞은 바게 땡인지 되라 아니 신의 지팀 봤어요 그래 아니 된주기 리서치는 레트가 강제가 돼 있잖아 아니 신에서는 라그리에서는 아니 시제기 놓다 집에 되게 공부되래.
So here it's very clearly states that until physical and mental plans arise, this is an attention that approximates serenity. It is not actual serenity.
되지. 와나 이제 다시 신장 맞죠 신장 뭐 보시든 와나 다 신장데. 다 신장 맞게 비고는 땡인데 사강기 뒤바 인시나. 때 땡인데 뒤바 kanji 사디바 인데. 뒤바 kanji 사디 컨소 사가 간로기 뒤바라 산데 돈비 니도 면체 인비 셰데 니도 타나 신행에 받아 타고비 셔로 뒤비살라 대자이 땡인지 예장 냐자 마자비 사인지 냐바자비 사시 민주비 전체네 로 로샤나리도 로는 뭔가서
That's my
아
this is me jalon nan teslo.
아니 게미기마 상사 마저 발로셔 시 비시라 냐바 마자비 산조 민주 전체네지 저바 메바당 가데 초다 시데 장바 마주비 셔로 대다양 사이 논제레 지시르 대코나 냐바자비 사시 샤라 강 드비 강제 제지바 니네 마인시나 데타 땡엔지 데네 저바 메바당 초다 가와다 시데 장와당 대변 뭐바주바 인라 데바나 셔바나 데타 마인데 데비 칸나 야다 비치 냐와 셈바 메바네 마이노 시에송소 데타나 시데 장바 마타바 마타나 젬바 나마 마테양 셈토바 장슈진 조신 대양 조차 년도게 쉬어나 탕제다 된 제토바다 나이 땡엔제는 되선 제지바 시샤와 인지 신의 얻는 조도 미롱와 시바 샤오서 어디바다 그러지 인치노 렌센렌센데 도야
도 다라도 그 대부도 나. Now the question here is let's read through the text again here. Question, well then, which of the 9 levels incorporates the concentration in which the appliance is not yet arisen? Here, reply, this concentration is included in the level of desire realms. This is because it is included in one of the 9 levels of the 3 realms. And it is not at or above access to the first meditative stabilizations. To achieve this access, it is certainly necessary to achieve serenity. Although there is such concentration without pliancy in the level of desire realms, it is a concentration that is a level without meditative equipoise. The reason why it is not presented as a level of equipoise is that it is not accomplished with lack of regret, supreme delight, and bliss, and with pliancy. This is stated in Asanga's level of yogic deeds. Why is it that this concentration alone is called the level of meditative equipoise, and one-pointedness of the desire realm is not?
되지. 당가서 대야도 동보디 디케체시야라 맞죠. 냐야이 사바세디 맞죠. 제가 칸송 사거스는 지시. 칸송사는 되칸 니주 칸조메 칸로와. 아니 사그세서나 아니 산데 동보네 제바바지 아니 난카타에 나시타에 제미 시제지제 아니 되비사다 아니 컨소 사그세네 대시거 뒤징어 알레 동보데 녀고다.
So here now, first, when we talk about this concentrations, we talked about this meditative equipoise. It is important to understand, first of all, the three realms, Kamsum, or the three realms. Three realms here refers to desire realms, form realms, and formless realms. And there are 9 meditative levels of meditative concentrations, 9 levels of meditative concentrations, including infinite space, meditative concentration, including infinite space and infinite consciousness and infinite nothingness.
되지. 다 컨소 사거든지. 오늘 던저 컨소 사거노게 단다. 아니 신자 마제 관계 띵인지 세네거바데 가르세기 되래서나 근데 녀자지 사바 말레스. 녀자지 사바 생에 되나? 야나 산데지보 가능 이거래. 야나 좀이지보 가능 이거래스. 그 말에 뇌센체지면 뇌비세디래서.
So it's clearly stated that although there might be such single-pointed concentrations that one may achieve, as long as this belongs to the desire realms, the concentration is reserved to the desire realms. It is not actual serenity. It is not a meditative equipoise. So meditative equipoise can only be once concentration will become a qualified meditative equipoise. It's only when one enters into the first beginning from the first meditative concentrations.
되지. 근데 띵인지 되게 단지 가서 이제 신의 차반에서데 녀자지 사바 차반에 선대도 민이도 면체랬어요. 선대도 민이도 다 선대도 뭐 제제로 와. 인전 신의 가디터서나 아니 고미 사바에서는 고미 녀자도 그래서. 아니 되봐도 아니 냥보 맞아 비싸서라 그래. 선도 신의터나 녀자지 사바 차.
So only when one gains the meditative serenity, then that's one's practice, one's meditation is called called meditative equipoise. And prior to that, prior to this, regardless of how single-pointedly then one meditates, so one's single-pointed meditation is not to call as a meditative equipoise.
되게 여와테 뒤중간 수정을 이렇게 개차래. 근데 뒤중간 개차래. 맞아. 뇌콘도 사고 생이 되다니. 녀저저 사바다 뇌비 사바 생이. 맞아. 뭐저 같은 뇌바하고는 뇌비 수라서 유대 정이 지는 뇌비 사바스 레거데 다기 생이죠.
So this is also important to understand the difference between the realms, the desire realms, and the realms that are above the desire realms, such as form and formless.
맞아. 뒤지 상주 선배가 사동번에 사치비 받으세요. 그 도박 공편도 로비게. 아니 상하지 도바로. 단다데 사바세디 대다 되게네 텔레 사대다 되게 뇌라 다게 생이 로르고 질라. 아니 사바세나라 그러면도 연대 공편도 로비 찾는 말에.
So here now, when we talk about those meditative concentrations, it is unlike the meditative. It is unlike the Bodhisattva's Bhumi. We're not talking about Bodhisattva's Bhumi here. The Bodhisattva's Bhumis are completely different than what we are talking about here in this, what we are discussing right now.
되지. 완나 신도 장부터 털루 진짜시 대터네 신내선 룰루 장 진짜이 냐나. 대라 신도 장바네 근딜레 신도 장바 강시나 류단 세제 내년에나지 준주비 싫어 류단 세 레스로니 니데스 주바 탕지세위 레제노 시에숨바다 시바 샤오 선도
Here is the reason this concentration is accomplished with lack of regrets. So, so here is the reason this concentration is accomplished with the lack of regret. Supreme delight, pliancy, and bliss. The concentration which functions in the desire realm is not like the concentration that does not function there. But it is not the case that in the desire realms there is no concentrations on a correct phenomenon. Thus, without having achieved pliancy, even when mindfulness is not continually maintained, your mind can automatically become non-discursive, and you can integrate this with the activities of moving, walking, lying down, sitting. This approximation of concentration is called a one-pointed mind of the desire realms. But understand that it is not fit to be presented as a genuine meditative serenity. Question which is, well, then what are the means of the achieving pliancy? And upon achieving it, how does it lead to serenity? Reply: pliancy is to be understood in accordance with the explanation in Asanga's contemplum of knowledge. And what is pliancy? It is serviceability of the body and mind due to the cessation of the continuum of physical and mental dysfunctions, and it has the functions of dispelling all obscurations. That's all. Let's take a break here, 10 minutes break.
당간 속에 들어 리 신상의 생 신상세의 가르를 세의 계시셔야 돼. 단단한 게 계산은 시에 돼 다다만 좀 봐서 내 마스로 하는 게 이제 자.
So we are discussing on what is the physical pliancy and mental pliancy. But before we go through this explanation, let's read through the text first, but we will be able to roughly understand what is meant by physical and mental pliancy.
신장 마토게 가드에 가르서는 리진행인의 생진행인의 세대. 다 생진행인의 리진행인들에서 코미버 차소나 이 신장선의 신의 양바 강된데도 소투가 질세고라 생인의 류이나.
So why we are unable to achieve this physical and mental pliancy? It is because physical and mental dysfunctions. It is due to the physical and mental dysfunctions. It prevents us from achieving physical and mental pliancy.
Gobala shed less wrong. Oh, they are no more power like less wrong was it or Tibetani, Kishi led to the Soyoda.
That's all. Here we read again, physical and mental dysfunctions are the unfitness of your body and mind for being employed to cultivate virtue at will. The remedies, physical and mental pliancy, entail great serviceability in terms of applying your body and mind to wholesome actions, for you are free of dysfunctions of the body and mind.
대체 당가 간제 그런 저거 조사라고데 아니 간사라니 인데가 강여바 되니라 sem바이네 르여나 네 게이쇼라 아니 라운터바지라 세그다가 저다 그 롱롱세데 소선 답바 강여바 나히기 다 신내다 타서 송송나 는 아까래 카송세네 간사자자야다 아니 세데 답미발에 세워모데 템모모데 세 타니데 진명이 차로도.
So once you are achieved physical and mental pliancy, then one can direct one's mind towards cultivation of or practice of meditations or engaging in any virtuous activities. One can do so without signs of any exhaustions, and one will be able to remain one's practice or one's virtuous activities as one wishes, as long as one wishes. So there will be no sign of exhaustions.
대야 단단한 속에 내걸로 간대지 생기 내단 간대지 열어서 는들이죠. 다 생이는 류인. 대 녀모 뻥라 가와라 봐도 주비 녀모기 쇼스 주비 리지 내년에 녀모 뻥라 좀바나 리지와라 소비 리 레스 메롱한다. 네 메롱하지. 대단 전에 류 당원 양원에 리 레스로 오 손도아.
Moreover, physical dysfunction, which is included in the category of afflictions, interferes with your delight in eliminating afflictions. When you try to eliminate your afflictions, your body becomes unserviceable with the sense of heaviness and so on. Once you're free of this, your body becomes buoyant and light. This is a serviceable body.
대신에 녀모 뻥라 가와라 봐도 주비 녀모지 쇼스 주비 생지 내년에 녀모 뻥비 쇼트 좀바나 게이 미발라 때바 강근 주도 미롱하다 제네 생 미발라 토바 멤버 주바네 생레스로 오 그렇다 생레로도 릴레로 이제 제대로.
So likewise, mental dysfunction, which is included in the category of the afflictions, interferes with your delight in eliminating afflictions. When you try to eliminate your afflictions, you cannot experience pleasure in focusing on a virtuous object. Once you're free of this, and your mind focuses on the object of meditation without resistance, this is a serviceable mind.
되지. 당어서 생계 이슈로서는 가서 변은 단 남비기 타니 제르마도 그 신의 중이라 아니 게메게 케저스게마 셔르발 신의 카운터로 가지 미발에 제던 된데도 거더러 괜히 차고 와라 생레로 차서는 템 생라랑 타봐 데디컬은 가서 나이 같이 해서는 나이기 sik하대 자투고 말이야 가지 생 코로나랑 대사라 미발
when physical and mental pliancy is achieved, then this cannot be distracted. You will not be, you will remain, distraction free. In other words, your practice or meditation will not be. There will be no obstacle for one's practice, so one can remain one's object of meditation as long as one wish.
대다양 로벤로데지 텔라 류레스 롱네 류지 장신 샤와나 나레 장신 샤와나라 당원 양 간레숑 간레종오 셀레스 롱네 yang daba yila sheba la shubi senji siwa tang yang wan juwi jur sen re ju sen le shung yi chu jen do juba kanyin ba de ta de na mi ba la toba men ban juba jube de yi shen sen le su rwa xie xia wo xie song de do na xin de jang ba ta na nyomo pang wan la zhen ban de jang le kasa le la nye rangi shawa lan juba ta sen rangi juba kashi le sen le su mirungwa le lo ne sen shindo go dewa tang denpa joro sondo.
That's the master Siddhir Ramati states in the explanation of the 30 stanzas. The serviceability of the body is that from which lightness and buoyancy arise in your physical actions. The serviceability of the mind is the cause of cheerfulness and lightness of the mind in engaging in the perfect attention. If you are endowed with this transformed quality that arises from your mind, you focus on the object meditation without resistance. Therefore, this is called the serviceability of mind. In short, due to this unserviceability of the body and mind, even when you want to strive to eliminate afflictions, you do not arduously and with distaste, like someone unable to engage in work. When pliancy is achieved, this tendency stops, and your body and mind becomes very easy to employ. Such complete physical and mental serviceability arises slight degree from the time that you start cultivate concentrations. This gradually increases until it finally turns into pliancy and one point in meditative serenity. At first, it's difficult to recognize due to this subtlety, but later on it becomes easy to recognize.
Chidang so na lu lerong teso na lu lerong chasa de moncha de ngunzi chasa de long lerong tsugdo long lerong cha yu de kala lu la yamo ye tong de shu chima do moncha de long koro long sing de yang yi de ra jin de jiro.
So here when we speak about the serviceability of body, it's mainly refers to the serviceability of one's wind elements, because when one's wind elements becomes a serviceable, then one will feel one's body as a very light and free of heaviness, and there's no sign of having how do you call it, just you will feel buoyant, that your body will feel so buoyant and free of this heaviness, in other words.
Dona dinalo dona shinja to so na dang nga so ge ko la tanda nga so ko la ji ge ge shu ge chu ji che ge sen na yang ji zhen ben de na yang ji so so ge men je bi le lo ding rang xin xin yong de je ro li san kang yin na ni shinja de to so na ji ji lu le lo de me sha ge le lo kang yin da le lo de do ne ni rang me ba ko la gu ju ju tu ge jing wo de song do.
So for us at this time, whenever one tries to engage in the practice or directing one's mind towards the practice of virtue, there's always some interferences. Mainly the interference from the laziness is the one that really becomes an obstacle for one's practice. But when one is able to achieve both physical and mental pliancy, and such occurrence of laziness will not be there.
되지. this is the thing. So, 지다 카톡 계시는 가서 신의 두세이다 종로 첨보로 하셔 잡아다 쉬고 내가 탐스게 고 말어. 로 유지를 미바때네 이런 뭐 대통령이 미바제다 미여잖아. 아니 미바텐차 레소나 아니 레슨 레론데 레소아이나 아니 지다 양세 전부 쉬지로 와. 다 간데 있는 가서 지로 ngaso tanda ki zubi ne ta de zubi ki ne ta de la jine ngaso na sa da ma na yu de shu ji ri ji yo de se de de sine ko ne ji ta na kan ne yo ko se ki zwa de be shu chi bo yo sa ra ngaso le so na lo long le rong cha so na za le rong cha na cha le rong no lo la zang yong su zo ba le rong cha so wa yin na ani zubi ki na sa ki se ta ba de shu ji yong do ro cha da ngaso to ba na ji je pa yu shu le yin da.
So here now, to master over this meditative serenity, it looks like it doesn't require intensive studies and so forth. It is mere practice of meditating and employing one's body and mind and making one's body and mind serviceable. And that doesn't really require intensive studies, unlike the studies of, the bodhisattvas, embarking on the path of bodhisattvas, or bodhisattva's path, in other words. So here now, if one is able to achieve meditative serenity, it is almost, one could almost say that one will be able to free oneself from this gross level of, physical sicknesses, because one's body becomes serviceable, one's elements, the wind elements become serviceable. When the wind element becomes serviceable, then the channels of one's body become serviceable. And this will then lead to a cleanness of one's, bloods and so forth, blood circulations. It really, help us to have a better blood circulations and so forth. And so this also, not only that one can be free of, by heaviness of one's body and so forth, but also be able to free from sickness as well.
차위 리가신 신내장 리발하와兄弟 年살레 대 동보 코나 양답이 조알라 준비체 sensible jamba dans le chien de jamba dans dans le laisseront joane chawa de tabakawa ino xiedan de sensible ba ni dans dans le chien de jamba deni ngoba pewana data de ju ba ne ju ne ju de ju be lembi tsuje rashin tabala yi sensible ba ni dans dans le chien de jamba jamba xie de xie song so song.
Asanga Shavaka level states, at the very beginning, when you begin the correct training, the occurrence of the mental and physical pliancy and mental and physical pliancy and mental and physical pliancy and the mental and physical serviceable is subtle and difficult to discern. And as that one-pointed mind and the mental and physical pliancy incurs in the manner of chain reaction. They lead to a one-pointed mind and mental and physical pliancy that are obvious and easy to discern. The portent of the occurrence of the easily discernible perfected pliancy is this: the person who are striving to cultivate concentration experience a sense of heaviness and numbness of the brain, but it is not an unpleasant heaviness. So it is a nature, right? Right from in the beginning, whenever we try to do something, it is something that is unclear, something that is not obvious to all of us. But as you keep doing it and practicing it, then it becomes easier and clearer to oneself. So this is the nature, process of learning. That's all. So as soon as this occurs, they are freed of the mental dysfunctions. Mental dysfunctions that obstructs their delight in eliminating afflictions, and mental pliancy, which is the remedy for the dysfunctions arises for the first time. So, the Charvakas level states the importance of the approximate occurrence of obvious, easily discernible one-pointedness of the mind and mental and physical pliancy is a sensation of the brain becoming heavy, but this is not a harmful characteristic. As soon as this happens, you eliminate the mental dysfunction that belongs to the category of afflictions and that obstructs your delight in eliminating afflictions, and the mental serviceability and mental pliancy, which are the remedy for these dysfunctions, arise. So here it says the physical, and that's where it says the physical pliancy is a sensation versus a one pointed of the mind that mental and physical pliancy is a sensation of the brain becoming heavy, but it is not a harmful characteristic what it says. So what is meant by here in the brain becoming heavy is just something that doesn't allow us to know clearly. That is what is meant by brain become heavy.
Tendriki pong kawa singi di, ani te yuan ki te redo, tendriki jawan jaro wachi. Tesi te te ko nejo ba ji khan jane nyanyung to ne yung barwa. Ta jiro mo che ji jong ki ma song yu di kala soso ge di sansin de ji tendi chen ma nga sha gu ma re. Inchi mi ji jong chen bo ji japten chen ne digim de she de shu ji na nge jiro wa. Te ye re. Ba yong ka re ne japten che le tu ne, an ten de she nang de de tu mo me bi jiro mo chi chi che re so mo re. Rang so me ba.
This is how the Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings are always. Not only that he, he actually composed whatever the experience that he may have as a result of his practice, but also whatever the experience that he has is always supported by the great deities of the Indian masters. It is therefore, you will see, very often when he describes, when he elucidates on certain subject matter, and you will always find citations, the supporting citations from the great deities of the Indian masters.
Ya dere so ni jong zang ye ji ge jong ke pa mo bo ji jong zu shu zhi jian de ma song xia de ne ma de rang ni ge kang song ba de ni tu be den le be gang be nyang sen ne ni nyang nyu yue bi jong ce de zu zhu ne ni ma song xia ju ji lo a yi xian de men dao re.
It is not something that our modern scholars are writing something just collecting from different sources and combining them and putting it together. It is their true own experience, practice, and gain this experience, and whatever the experience that they may have, and they have written down in a form of letter for their followers. And that too is very much, relating to the actual teachings of the Buddha himself, connecting to actual teachings of the Buddha himself, sorry.
저런 코로나에 도저 딜레마스에 대해 라니기 뽑아줘 라니기 뽑아 총수한테나 동보 자체도 봐 만도서 봐도 줄로 탄치 담바시 타만이 생겨도 녀서 괜찮 템바집에 치도뭐 신대 상시 데만레는 다 가진치와 지전치비 대산에 지전담배야라 근데 소대 된 제비는 도저 들려야 돼 오늘 젠도 뒤수장으로 소대 도저 딜레마기 지로마치 냥네 강수바 지자손 제래 맞아 자정도 소한테 아니 전에 진루촌에 시타비 좀나 쇼라가 라바레 침범에게 끊을 시대 장생 손도에도 쇼지로.
So if you look at the spiritual song or the spiritual song of the Lama Tsongkhapa, experiential song in other words of Lama Tsongkhapa, where he stated, first one must, where he stated that first I have received the vast teachings from the various teachers, and whatever the teachings that I may have received, I have then contemplated and practiced day and night. As a result, whatever the that realization that I may have gained, I dedicate all this towards the achievement of enlightenment of myself and that of all other sentient beings. And then he also stated that one must not become a complacent of a little thing that one may know, but rather one should try to study the full, by following the deities of the great Indian masters. And all those deities, he says, all the deities of the great Indian masters should not become complacent or by knowing one subject matter of the teachings that is given by the Indian master, but rather try to understand the overall teachings of the great Indian masters.
아빠도 아니 라리 디데 코는 더러와. 그래 신에다 하도 손들에 아니 신에 제거데 냐래 코는 제지 상대 장로 거 싸워주면 다시 팀만 방진에 손에 아니 대호 시간이 로마서 가진데 제전라면 냐래 때데 탄데다 제시 정설라서 저기 아니 제전 제로모 코너서데 년종에 냐래 때다제 탄데 제자 대시 정설로서데 라리 쳔모기 용용수도 보면 치제선에 소상에 대 다가랑을 완양 라니게 냐래 전에 능알았던 정서는 저런서 냐래 때문에 제시 소상에 제디 근데 저한테 다 같이 개배 지 장수리 제서는 싸워니는 매바지
Teaching sometimes I'm a quiet side of it.
더 집에면 뭐
신의 람바들 시력이
신은 그래서 신의 딸을 전에는 탄지음이
지점제된 영몸이도
탄지음인데 전지 제시비 70도에 하면 대녀도 로저 제반제세데 간제 간제 단단하리 첨부는 아니지 시대에 용수 줘봐들 나리 양거는 슈리제는 거테네 네 라니게 냥했던 제시 진조인 처럼 다라 제시송데 빠진 가서 가시라로.
So then also Lama Tsongkhapa stated in his abbreviate Lam Rim for the stages to the path to enlightenment, abbreviate stages to the path to enlightenment, Lam Rim 20, where he stated that mere single-pointed concentration is not sufficient to cut the root of samsara. And no matter how much you analyze your delusion, if tranquil abiding or the calm abiding is, divorced from wisdom. In other words, if one's, practice of calm abiding is not conjoined with the practice of wisdom, you will not be able to overcome your delusions. Wisdom searching for the ultimate truth, riding the horse of the unwavering, tranquil abiding, will, wielding the sharp of the weapon and so on. So where it's stated now, this is, and then he said that this is the practice, the yogi I have done, and those of you who strive to free from samsara and gain liberations do the same. So here it says now, in order to perfect one's practice of both calm abiding and wisdom or the special insight, it requires a tremendous studies. And studies referring to the teachings that are given by the great Indian masters.
제바 조바세거라 남주의 형수 조바데 남주의 장선은 뚜뚜동비 손에 지로와 나리 첨문데스 제 장선은 뚜뚜동은 대용비서 지로와 수 맞아 디제가 상추 센데 제디 장선을 빼자 아니 가사 많이 빼래 나기서 나기 아니 제루 총이 용수 조바 산제 용수 조바데 츠츠르도네 아니 나리 첨문은 냥래기 슈디 제바 아니 냥래체 아니 냥래 제바데니 아니 탄데 주변나라 땡백이 슈리제비 종지인데 지 맞소이나 봐 냥래 쟁에 총게 rentan 체르 체르로라 데메데 당가서 뒤송이 뒤선으로 지나 강 디디디다 강 치치치 자다생에다 야지 타린 뭐지네 장 비다고 지ले 장대체네 데마마도 라니 데티는 데네 니 냥래 체네 시지 디비송지 레만도아.
So here now, if you look at the teachings of the great deities on the stages of the path to enlightenment, Lam Rim Chenmo, it is the teachings, the combination of all the teachings of the sixth ornament and the two supreme, the great Indian masters. But it's just like the Lama Tsongkhapa stirs the oceans of the teachings and extracting the essence from that oceans and putting it into this teachings of the Lam Rim Chenmo, and it, so it's a really something that when we go through the stages of this Lam Rim Chenmo, it's not just mere studying and sharpening one's intellect, but rather one should try to practice this and incorporate with these teachings with one's mind, and try to mingle these teachings with one's emotions to become oneself as a better person, a better practitioners. Because sometimes what happens is because Lam Rim Chenmo, the teachings of great deities, teaches to the path to enlightenment, is too long, so we are unable to do that, and it is not a right sign here. It is not a good sign. We try to look for something that is more abbreviate rather than looking for the extensive teachings, or with this abbreviate, which actually encapsulate all those teachings. Why don't we just, go through the teachings of the abbreviate one, not the long ones? So this is, from my opinion, I don't think it is right. So we should always try to look at and try to study something that is more extensive and more, wide and broad. It's much beneficial for us. We have a saying that when the teacher is teaching Lam Rim Chenmo, the great deities on the stages of the path to enlightenment, it actually shivers the entire volumes of the teachings of the Buddha.
Jene lerung lesser rungi lungi tu kawa nawa yore kawa jeda nawa jode nyasa le sondu taji nyasa le lo sing da nyasa le che de jebe lu shin de jamba jeba tang tumba jonga chimbo lung da lu le jiwa jode de da jiwi du na pa la kai ba je shiba nyomo bi shosu Juba Luigi Nangin Kang ba Teta Jawa Jushi, Di Nibo Lu Shindu Jamba Lu Tangchi Jede Kawa Jenda Nawa Joro She Sonso Dela Lu Shindu Jamba Ne Luigi Nagi Reja Chi Yidongwa Shi Yinchi Senju Ne Mide Tobe Tayam Ji Sondu. Tobe Loden Jilada. Loden Tayin Jibariwa.
So here now, then due to the power of the rising of the pliancy that makes your mind serviceable, and energy that is a cause for physical pliancy, course through your body, crosses through your body, sorry. Once this energy has progressively crossed throughout the part of your body, you're free of physical dysfunctions and physical pliancy, which is the remedy for the physical dysfunction arises. Once this saturates the entire body, there is an experience of being as if filled with the power of this serviceable energy. The Shavaka level states, due to its pliancy occurrence, energy when included among the great elements, that is conducive to the arising of physical pliancy, courses through the body. When it flows, you are free of the physical dysfunctions that belong to the category of afflictions. that obstructs your delight in eliminating afflictions, and physical pliancy, the remedy for the afflictions, saturates the entire body, so that it seems as if you are filled with this energy. Now, physical pliancy is a very pleasant sensation within the body, not a mental process, as the masters Master Satyaramati states, citing sutras.
아니 대화니 전에 아니 류신장지 대화도 동버터 그래 했으니 아니 신장이 이 방에다 대화니 이제 방에다 dag 말해.
So the sequence in which that we achieved physical and mental pliancy, it says the first one achieves mental pliancy. And due to achievement of mental pliancy, then one achieves the physical pliancy, or the experiences of the physical bliss.
뒤중가 좀 생주 같이 세대 아니 새 강을 대서 되니 노 되그래 아니 새 이런 거는 미발 되는 때뭐 대비 젠제네 아니 롱 강가 되요데 롱 대비 젠제 아니 롱 레롱 차 롱레롱 세거라 롱데 조번을 제대고 새 강으로서 되니라 롱 지와제네 아니 간제 롱 레롱 차 롱레롱이 류게 대화데 류레 대화를 비젠제네 아니 새라 가데려 그래.
So it is due to the physical, for the mental pliancy, to once wind elements become pliancy, wind element becomes serviceable, sorry. And as a result of becoming one's wind elements serviceable, will then give rise to the physical pliancy, or the blissful physical experience.
되는 생신자의 생존의 손도 리신자네 아니 리지 가서 리나게 아니 제자 이동하지 이제 생존 말에 손도 생신자의 생존의 손도 아니 리신자의 생존 말에 손도 제자 이동하지 이제 손도 그래서 용의 제가 정해내는 뭔가 서도 가서 되는 거 고민해서 좀 말이야. 그것이 비거나서 이중진은
샘 신장의 생존레세.
아니 레신자의 이동은 죄송다.
그래서 so this mental, pliancy is what is called, it's a mental factor. It is not an actual mind or the primary mind. It is a mental factor. However, the physical pliancy is not a mental factor. It's a physical sensation. It's qualified as a delight sensation.
이가나 리신의 장바 주로 소의 시엔 돌레 중에 쇼로 시에 송소 송.
So here the masters Satyaramati states, citing sutras, if a distinctive physical sensation is qualified by the delight, recognize it to be a physical pliancy. If your mind is delighted, your body becomes pliant.
대다 리신자 토마제 비체나 롱게 투 르라 데위 냥쳔버 제발라 때네 살라이 양 가디 냥쳔와 냥치 피드 숑와 용아 저로 디지스 신드 장바 토마제 비슈 데 렌제 롱 총던 저데 대양 신상 세네로와 민지 라바 데 세하장 요에 데 로네 Jimata Sobi Ship Jamba, Mayo Dingin Zindan, Tumba Junga Yeno, Saint Gawa, Saint Gaye or Deyang, Lone, Dene, Saint Mibala, Demba Nation, Gawa Chimbo Jubi, Mashawatan Tei, Shene, Toba, Yende, Niasale, so.
Thus, when physical pliancy initially occurs due to the power of energy, there arises a great sense of the well-being in your body. On this basis, there also arises in your mind a most exceptional experience of that pleasure. Thereafter, the force of this initial occurrence of pliancy gradually subsides. But this is not a case of pliancy becoming exhausted. Rather, this pliancy is coarse and excessively agitates your mind. So with its disappearance, there occurs a pliancy, tenuous like a shadow, what is compatible with a steady concentrations. Once the rapturous delight of your mind has disappeared, your mind stabilizes firmly upon the object of meditation, and you achieve meditative serenity, which is free of the turbulence caused by the great delight.
Yo shu chimbo de dobi jenje ne gade shu chimbo jinyo ane gade de ko kale kale ma ye na yo semi bal ten do de ten do go do de nyang ni do ma re so do.
So when one first achieves meditative serenity, one will have extraordinary experiences. One will have experience of extraordinary bliss. But as time goes by, then it disappears again. Such experiences of extraordinary bliss disappears. That doesn't mean that you are actually declining your meditative serenity. It is just like when you are very cold, you just go where the heat is, and you go there, and as soon as you experience the heat, and you have such a delight, the feeling of delightful, right? But then as the time goes by, when your body become warm, then that very experiencing of delight will be decreases. It's same thing like that. It is not something that your meditative serenity is declining, but you are actually, observing it, and you are actually being yourself into this meditative serenity. So then also the example that is given is now, for instance, when you hear a very good news, at the moment that as soon as you hear this very good news, then we will have a very positive feeling. But then that positive feeling again changes in the next moment. That doesn't mean that whatever the news that you have heard is not true. So this is how the experiences of our first occurrence of our serenity experience is similar to the when you first hear the very good news. We'll stop here with this today.
Japan just sabi the son to sabi giwana shochi the tola dene and Tangatsugi Ranjison Tanji and Zobe Sanji Komo the Tabiche and Shanchu Sengi Manji Shebeton and Shalason Rich Dameto Shalason Rich and Nasaran and then Moto Zobe Sanji Komo and then Arata and Mataba and Raji Kanga and then Giovanni knew on you to Tabachi and Shao Shane Badena Shube and then number 2 on Bonnie Jabin, Rangi Jets, I am going to Shalot, and Rangi Julan Juba shows and Mother Mother.
Let's do our dedications here now by means of accumulating merits by listening to these great teachings and also combining all those virtues that we have accumulated in the past, future, and present. And then particularly the virtues that we have accumulated by receiving these precious teachings. And may, by means of receiving such teachings, may myself and all other beings to be able to engage in the practice of meditative serenity and insight, and finally to gain the state of enlightenment, not only for myself, but also all other sentient beings. May all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the 10 directions please bless me to be able to do this.
高热热过于心高处，别当的我马林中原的，心里在我定人叫做一，小别心的马多点就安静，要别抱怨接到结果。更多生活点样点心的，得到根据接受道路，给我得到当街绕多么，就从西边叫我当街，我刚了就多黄包的，大街给人找我的根着，从不学习绕多么。Oh yeah, 对不起，天就，对不起。
Thank you.